In the 16th century, when England was engulfed in religious wars, Queen Mary I sat on the throne. She became infamous for her cruelty, persecuting Protestants, whom she viewed as enemies of her rule. Her reign was a time of fear. Hundreds faced persecution, and many were burned at the stake for their faith. Mary, embodying cruelty and vengeance, lost her humanity in this darkness. Rumors spread that she herself was a victim of evil spirits that manipulated her fears and ambitions. After her death, her spirit remained tethered to this world, trapped in a mirror, waiting for those daring enough to speak her name. The legend states that Bloody Mary could appear to anyone who summoned her, but the price was high. Her appearance was always accompanied by horror and death. Her wrath was directed at those who dared to invoke her name, as if it were her only way to take revenge on the world that wronged her. No one knows how or when Bloody Mary began to take her form. Perhaps it happened in the dark hours of the night, when someone, full of courage and curiosity, uttered her name in a dimly lit room before a mirror. With each spoken name, she became more powerful and vengeful. The fear of her name grew so immense that many chose to avoid mirrors after sunset, fearing an encounter with her terror. Despite her tragic fate, Bloody Mary embodied not only the spirit of vengeance, but also the fear that pierced the hearts of people. Adults warned children that playing with spirits was dangerous, and that Bloody Mary does not forgive those who dare to intrude into her world. The story of Bloody Mary soon reached teenagers who, gathering for Halloween, began experimenting with summoning her. However, behind the laughter and antics lay a lurking horror, and soon they would confront a reality that many had heard of but no one wanted to face. Halloween had arrived, and 5 friends, Emily, Jake, Lisa, Ryan, and Nathan, decided to celebrate the evening in an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Plump pumpkins with carved faces sat on the doorstep, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of decaying leaves. Inside the house, everything was shrouded in darkness and silence, broken only by the creaking floorboards. In the corner stood a large mirror with a cobweb-covered frame. Laughing and joking, the friends discussed the legend of Bloody Mary, and with each word they spoke, their laughter became increasingly nervous. Ryan recalled that many who had tried to summon Bloody Mary had vanished. Emily felt a chill run down her spine. She tried to joke, but soon realized her voice was trembling. Lisa, encouraging her friends, suggested they perform the ritual to test their courage. Confident Jake insisted it was just a game. They gathered around the mirror, the tension in the air palpable. Soon Jake, with a challenging tone, said,
"Let's do this!"
Their laughter faded as they uttered Bloody Mary's name 3 times. After the last word, a sinister silence filled the room. The lights began to flicker, and a cold wind rushed through the open windows, bringing with it a sense of dread. The silence became unbearable. Lisa, frightened, asked,
"What was that?"
Then one of the candles went out, leaving them in darkness. Suddenly, they noticed their reflections in the mirror distorting, showing not only their faces, but also something sinister behind them. A ghostly figure with a bloody face slowly appeared, its lips whispering, "Why are you summoning me?" In panic, Nathan, trying to escape, suddenly fell, gripping the mirror. He screamed, but his voice was drowned out as the figure enveloped him in its cold breath. Everyone watched in horror as he disappeared, leaving only an echo of his scream. Emily, shocked, stepped back, but her foot got caught in the rug, and she fell to the floor when a soft whisper came from behind her. "You're next." The situation was becoming increasingly sinister. Jake and Lisa, realizing they had summoned something terrible, panicked. Lisa, trying to keep her composure, exclaimed,
"We need to get out of here. This isn't just a game."
Suddenly, the doors locked, and the room filled with dark shadows. in despair, began to pray, but his words were drowned out by the malevolent laughter echoing from the mirror. The shadows thickened, and Emily watched as her friends disappeared one by one. At that moment, Jake felt he needed to take action. Lisa, feeling the terror gripping her, looks into the mirror. Her reflection is distorted, and she sees Bloody Mary reaching out to her with icy hands. In a panic, she tries to run, but at that moment, the mirror begins to pulse, and an unknown force erupts from it, overwhelming her. Lisa freezes. Her screams fill the room, but soon they cease as the shadow envelops her, and she disappears as if dissolving into thin air. Ryan, witnessing the horror, tries to pull Lisa out, but suddenly hears Mary's whisper, promising him suffering. Feeling something dark enveloping him, he lunges for the door, but suddenly his legs feel heavy, as if sharp thorns were piercing them. In desperation, he struggles to free himself, but falls to the floor, where the shadows begin to pull him down. At that moment, he sees his reflection in the mirror smiling, and the next instant, darkness consumes him. He vanishes into the abyss, leaving only echoes of his screams. Jake realizes that Bloody Mary will not stop at what she has done. He runs to the mirror, trying to break it to stop her. Emily, realizing that the only way to get rid of the spirit is to end the summoning, begins to chant a spell she heard from her grandmother to ward off evil spirits. Mary, sensing their intentions, rushes at them with fury, her eyes filled with hatred. Enraged, Bloody Mary suddenly disintegrates into numerous shadows, and Jake, gathering his last strength, throws a shard he finds on the floor at the mirror. The glass shatters, and at that moment, the ghost retreats, leaving only fear in its wake. Emily and Jake flee the room, but they know they will never forget this horrifying experience. Just as they exit the house, they hear a whisper behind them. "I will still come for you. Be careful with mirrors. They can reflect not only your face, but also your darkest fears. You never know who or what may come to greet you when you gaze into their depths."